I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of The Take with Jackson Burleson. And let's go ahead and introduce our guests for this MLB All-Star Game podcast. We're halfway through the MLB season. We got a first-time guest, Michael Beer, who's a producer for Foul Territory. He's hopping on for the first time. And then we got Gabriel Vasquez. You've seen him a couple times. He's a fellow Cubs fan like me. So we got those two guys hopping on. So thanks for taking the time to talk some baseball.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's always a great time, JB. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on too. First time guest. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while now, so means a lot.
Yeah, we have. And I know you're going to be at the All-Star game and you're going to be doing all those festivities. Like, I just got to ask you, Michael, like, what is the most exciting thing about the All-Star game and just being able to be at the event?
It's really just a celebration of the sport, I think. Like in the same way the NFL has the Super Bowl, baseball is for the All-Star game or All-Star week, really. Just a prolonged period, 3-4 days where everyone comes together, whether it's media, fans, people that work in organizations, people that work for the union, people that work for the sport. Everyone is just in one place at one time and everyone gets to see everyone. It's a really cool experience. And even just as a fan, if you've never been to one, 2023 was my first All-Star week. 24 was my first game. I would strongly advise going and checking it out at some point. I think it's in Philly next year and then Wrigley in 27.
Oh, yeah. Wrigley, yeah.
There you
Let's
go.
go.
Yeah. Give us tickets, Mike. Give us tickets.
Yeah, I wish.
And I know the roster just came out this week, and I know there were a lot of names that were left off the rosters. I just kind of want to, throw it up in the air. Like, who's the biggest snub of the All-Star game in 2025?
I got this. I'll go first because it's obvious. I'm taking the low-hanging fruit. I'm sorry, Gabe, but I'm going Juan Soto. I know you're gonna go say Suzuki, so I'm gonna leave that one for you.
Wow.
But Juan Soto, like.
Wow. Okay.
Juan Soto, he had just this incredible month of June, which means essentially you're one of the best players in baseball for a third of the season up to this point. That alone should, in my opinion, be enough to at least get you on like the bottom half of the roster. But Juan Soto's not getting pitches to hit early on in the year. Like these teams have relievers and their starting staffs all ready to go, healthy. They're able to pitch around Juan Soto, not really give him anything to hit. Then you get into the later months of the season, or halfway through the season rather, you get into June, you get to late May. Now you're starting to get some depleted arms, some depleted staffs, and guys have to throw Juan Soto pitches to hit because they're either, whether it's game script or they're just missing over the plate simply. And what's Juan Soto doing? He's hitting the ball out of the park. He's driving in runs. It's
right.
It's almost like you give the best player in baseball pitches to hit, he's going to do something with it. So I look at the stat sheet and I know the numbers don't line up. But again, you just have to look at how much he was getting on base early on and not actually getting bat to ball because he couldn't get bat to ball. He wasn't getting the pitches to do that. The other element to this is it's also player vote, and Juan Soto doesn't necessarily, I think, have the best reputation around the league. The contract is obviously pretty off-putting, I think, to a lot of people. But I think if it was not a player vote for reserve, we'd see Juan Soto on the roster. And who knows, by the time this is out, he might be announced as a substitution. He should be.
And me and Gabe are going to agree. Seiya Suzuki leading the league in RBI is unacceptable for him not to be in there.
Come on. It has to be there. If you don't mind, Jax, just a little something. I don't want to keep it too long, but I see your point, Michael. No diss to it. Obviously, we all know that Soto had a big month of June. That's worthy of being recognized. I agree, but someone for Seiya Suzuki, especially me and Jackson, we can vouch for this. He's had a rough start at least his first 3 seasons. So for Seiya to break out in this way, it means a lot to us that he's finally stepped up. And he just lost his RBI lead. Judge has 78 now. He has the most, but that happened last night. But for all this time, he had the RBI lead. And he's only a player with 25 home runs and 75 RBI. So for Seiya to go through this successful, time, this stint, but first half, he deserves it. And it's hard because he's technically a DH. Yeah, he plays in the outfield. He's labeled as an outfielder, but
that's the thing. Yeah,
that's the issue.
Because you got Schwarber and Ohtani at DH in the National League, and it's like how you competing with those two guys who Ohtani's like the greatest player in the game, and then Schwarber's a very popular player as well. But I think Suzuki, like just at the plate, like you're saying, Gabe. I mean, he's been super consistent all year. I think like he's been one of the most consistent players in the Cubs lineup, and he's just been perfect. And I can't believe he wasn't in it. It just blew my mind, to be honest.
Very, very shocking in my opinion. But
Yeah, I don't.
maybe if someone steps down. I know Michael. They sometimes the players opt out not to play, so they bring another one. So who knows? Maybe he gets in with an opt out.
Oh yeah, and just to add to that point, like driving and runners is to people it's just a stat. That's not easy. Like there's a lot of pressure that comes with guys in scoring position. So I think the magnitude of what he's doing is also kind of overlooked. So he should be in my opinion.
And what was the biggest surprise of a guy who made the roster that maybe you didn't think would be on the roster at the beginning of the year?
Julio Rodriguez, 100%. I think Randy Arozarena, his own teammate, should have made it over him. George Springer should have made it over him. I don't know, J-Rod. I get it. You got to market. He's one of the game's quote unquote stars. But I mean, just looking at his numbers right here at a glance, and this is very basic. You're looking at a 249 average, 11 homers, 43 ribbies. Like, I mean, there's better players out there. And again, I understand it's J-Rod. They put him in 23 when there were a lot of players deserving over him, but of course that was in Seattle, so you had to put him in. I just didn't see a reason why J-Rod should be on the roster this year. But again, I get it. It's a game of entertainment, and that's what J-Rod brings. So I understand it from that point.
And I just want to throw a name out there that I like Jacob Wilson on the A's. I think he's had a surprisingly really good season. I think for anybody before the season thinking, oh yeah, the A's are gonna have an all-star starter. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody thought that. And
No.
he's had a heck of a season. And I've really been impressed. Oakland, whatever you want to call them, Sacramento, wherever they are. Uh, they've been going through a lot as an organization, and just to see a bright spot of a young player like that, make an all-star team and be playing the way he is, I think that's just something you got to admire as well.
Yeah, that kid, he's something special. And what they got building in Sacramento is not quite reached the point that I think they want it to, but he's going to be a big part of eventually the Las Vegas A's.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
that
I
sounds
guess,
so
man.
weird.
I know. Oh gosh.
What about you, Gabe? What's your biggest surprise?
I would in a good way though. I would say Kyle Stowers in Miami. I think he's had a really good year. He slowed down a bit, but he's still batting 280, 60 home runs, a really good OPS at 860. So I think what he's done in Miami, obviously not known for being very good. So they're just having pieces of like who is, their franchise player as of right now. And I think Kyle Stowers really stepped it up. He had a big series with the Cubs when they came to Chicago. He had the walk-off grand slam against the A's, coincidentally. So I like where he's at right now. He's not a starter, but he's a reserve. He's able to represent Miami and MLB. Everyone needs to be represented. I know everyone has opinions about that, but so when you have someone like him who can represent in a good way, I'm a big fan of him. And he was traded to Baltimore, from Baltimore to Miami. So good step up for him, and I like what he's doing right now. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's go ahead because we got the ABS system is going to be in the All-Star game. That was just announced. We saw it in spring training. Now having it in the All-Star game, that's a completely different beast. You got the best players in the game getting to experience this, and everyone in the MLB is going to see what this thing can really do. Because spring training, people watch, but it doesn't have the spotlight like the All-Star game. So how should we feel about the ABS system being a part of the 2025 All-Star game?
Michael, go
Well,
ahead.
well, first I have to correct you, Jackson, because you called it the MLB. It's not the
Or
Major League Baseball. It's MLB. But in all seriousness, I think it's a great move by MLB to showcase the ABS challenge system in the All-Star game. The All-Star game is a game of showcase, right? You want to show things that are coming to the game, might be coming to the game because you've got a national audience. It's obviously baseball is the only sport going on at the time of the game. So I view it as, again, a showcase product. You can sit down for 2.5, 3 hours on a night in mid-June and really display some innovative ideas, and the ABS challenge system is one of them. It's coming. It's probably coming next year. I have to imagine it's on a bit of a fast track. Originally, I don't think it was supposed to be a thing until the 2027 season, which who knows even when that's going to be, considering the looming lockout. But yeah, I think we're gonna get a glimpse of it. I'm interested to see who they allow to use it, right? Like, is Aaron Judge obviously is going to probably get priority, and Cal Raleigh and Shohei Ohtani? Are they going to give like Jacob Wilson the opportunity to tap his helmet if the opportunity arises, if none of the big boys have done it yet? So that part will be interesting, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great opportunity just for baseball to showcase something that they've been working on. And yeah, I think that's the question, right? Like, who does get the nod when it is officially like implemented into the game? Like, how do you disperse that power out? Because it's an interesting thing. I mean, you cannot be in a position where you're like, I mean, obviously next year, like when you're early in the games, do you save it for the end? Like I think people are trying to figure out like what the strategy is for it and how it's going to be used correctly. So yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how it unfolds with that as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think Gabe, what else do you got to touch on that? Because I know we talked about it on spring training as well last time you were on the podcast. So like seeing it at this stage, we didn't even know it was going to be in the All-Star game this year.
Yeah, no, it came as a shock to me because they're trying to save it for the next season. They do use it for the futures game with the young kids. They have done that for a couple of years now. So to see it in the big stage, it's going to be interesting. I know a lot of players this year have been like sarcastically tapping their heads to umpires sometimes. So I want to see how it is early because a lot of these players like to show up the umpires because they think they're so bad, and they kind of are. So it's like they want. I'm surprised, like you're saying. I'm really interested in seeing how they're gonna do it. I would savor it towards the end because that's where the game matters the most. So I'm very interested to see like, and I think we mentioned it also, like managers can't challenge it. Only the pitcher, hitter, and catcher. So it's between the battery and the hitter at the plate. So I'm very interested if the big player is gonna want to do it. If some don't care for it, but I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I think the competition that I always look forward to every single baseball season is the home run derby. Now we got a lot of interesting people that are participating in this. We've got Ronald Acuna, we got Byron Buxton, Junior Camaro. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I apologize. O'Neill Cruz, Cal Raleigh, James Wood, Brent Rooker, and Jazz Chisholm. So, who do you guys got?
I'll start. I
Yeah,
think you gotta go. You gotta go, Ronnie. Atlanta, hometown. I just it's gonna be between him and Cal Raleigh in my opinion. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
why like Jazz Chisholm's not gonna win because Jazz Chisholm's too small. He doesn't have that like consistent power. Like Mookie Betts, good home run hitter in the game. We saw in the home run derby, not so great. I feel like you're
yeah.
gonna get the same thing with Jazz. O'Neill Cruz hits the ball too straight. Junior Cameron is a sleeper pick. I think that guy or that kid rather is really coming on. He might be a guy that gives Cal or Ronald a run for their money, but it's got to be between the major league home run leader, I believe, right now, Cal Raleigh, and
Yeah,
then
he is.
and then Ronnie, who's just been on a tear playing like Ronald Acuna Jr. since he came back. But if you have to ask me to choose just one, I'm gonna go Ronald. I've always been a huge fan of Ronald Acuna Jr. since he came
Me
up.
too. Me
Like he's
too.
like top tier. Like when I think of players that MLB should market more and should like poster their sport with, I think it's Ronald Acuna Jr. So I'm gonna go Ronnie. Little bit of bias there. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. All right. Gabe,
Well,
who are you going with?
I gotta go with the same. I picked them a week ago, so it's kind of like very happy with mine. Well, I like where our heads at, Michael. But like I'm a big fan of Acuna. It's so amazing what he's been able to do. He missed a little bit of the season. He's on a tear, batting very well, and he's a starter and he's in the home run derby, and he's been there before. He got knocked out by Pete Alonso both times in like 2019 and 2022. So third time's a charm, hopefully. So maybe, and there's no Pete Alonso this year, so maybe he can sneak through. And yeah, Cal and Acuna would be fun. But sometimes some bigger power guys don't always win it. You see, most of them do, but I feel like maybe Cal might falter, and maybe Acuna with his experience might get over the top there.
Well, I got Cal Raleigh winning. So yeah, he ain't gonna falter nothing. I mean, the season he has had has been, I mean, pretty amazing. Like he's leading the league in home runs, which I like a couple weeks ago. Like I remember, like there's a guy at my job, and he's like, I'm like looking at the stats. I'm like, dude, like he leads the league in home runs, and he's like, yeah, man, he's been really killing it. And I'm like, dude, like I was looking at his like stats. He's had like 7 games with 2 or more home runs this year. I
Mhm.
mean, in a game like that, that's pretty remarkable. And yeah, I get, the power. I think him at the plate, I think his swing is very home run friendly. Like it's not like it's a pretty normal swing, to be honest. And I think he can really get it off quickly. And I think that'll help him. But I mean, you never know. I mean, there's always a guy that comes out of nowhere and just absolutely dominates. I mean, I don't think anyone really thought Jose Ramirez last year was going to really do that well, and he did okay.
Yeah,
And he was kind of a sleeper in a lot of people's eyes. But yeah, I'm gonna go Cal for this one. I think he's gonna put Seattle on the map with one of the best hitters in the game right now as of today. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's my favorite competition. Like every year, I'm glued to the television. I'm like, all right, like who can hit the
It-
most home runs? Like I'm just so awesome. It's just such an awesome time. But let's go ahead and get into some, logistics of like how the season has been going, the best teams and things like that. The Detroit Tigers have been on one this season. I think after last year, they really, they got hot at the end of the last year. They weren't like all that great until that stretch they had. And then now they've just come in and they've been absolutely dominating. And when it comes to pitching, like Skubal has been having another Cy Young season. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't win Cy Young this year. But looking at the Tigers, I'm pretty sure they have the best record in the league right now.
Correct.
Are they the favorites to win it all right now?
Yeah, 100% for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
They
Mike.
just, what in my opinion, what they need at the trade deadline is a third starter that they can trust to start a playoff game. Like I trust Tarek Skubal obviously, and I trust Jack Flaherty. Though last year in the World Series it was a little rocky. Um, I know Nathan Eovaldi's not getting traded, but someone like him would be, a guy that I'm calling about 24/7 relentlessly. They just need that third guy. Maybe it's Alcantara. It just kind of depends on the price, given some of his early struggles. I know he's done a lot better as of late. So that one's kind of a tricky situation. That's one of those deals that really might come down to the wire at the end. But they just need that third starter because really at this point you're looking at how do I win a playoff series? They don't have like the sexy roster like the Yankees or the Dodgers or even the Cubs right now. Um, but what they have is a lot of gritty players. The saying "gritty Tigers." Like
Yeah.
they've got a lot of players that know how to play baseball. And not that the Yankees don't want to play baseball, but the Yankees play sloppy baseball. The Tigers don't play sloppy baseball. AJ Hinch is, in my opinion, one of the best managers, if not the best manager in the game right now. So they've got good leadership there. They've got good structure. That's a team that is going to be dangerous the rest of the year and well into October.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, Gabe, your favorite player ever is having a pretty good season
Yes, he
over
is.
there.
Where is he? There he is. Oh yeah. Oh, get me out of the way. Yep, there he
Oh,
is.
I got something for you while you're talking about this game.
That was
I
great.
got
I
something for you.
appreciate that. But yes, I gotta agree with Michael on this one. We've been on the same page almost all day today, so that's awesome. But best team, I mean, they're up 13 games in the division. Like they are absolutely destroying
Is it
their
really that many? Jeez.
yeah, 13. And there's just no shot. Like they are gonna win by a landslide. And the sixth best offense, they're in the AL. Like they know how to pitch. It's their strength. When you have Tyreek Skubal there, you win ball games. And you have Javi who's stepped up tremendously, and he's a big part. I mean, he's playing center obviously, where he's been starting the All Star game. He's playing short. He's playing third. He's playing all these positions. He's being so versatile that's helping them in the spot they're even missing. So it's good for him to step up and with his bat. Obviously, he has good power, and when he gets going, he gets going. But this year, he's been consistent. That's all we needed from Javi. So it's a big step for them. And I agree with Michael. They need maybe another string third in the rotation starter, but they get that one piece. I know starters have been a little weird this year. Like the guys we see in the list for starters have not been the best this season, but they can find someone, a little sneaky starter, and get that third slot. They're going to be even better than they are now, and it's going to be a dangerous team. And I'm happy for Tigers fans and it's in Detroit. They needed this.
Yeah, this is their first time being 24 games over 500 since 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the
That was
year.
the
Here.
Miguel Cabrera Triple Crown, right?
Yep. That
Yep.
was.
Yeah.
Yep. It's been
It's
a
pretty
minute.
pretty good Tigers teams.
Oh yeah.
Like I think just seeing their growth like in just such a short amount of time has been like I mean they're one of the most like shocking teams like if you look at the last couple of years like just seeing what they've been able to do the culture they're building and did you say I wanted to touch on something you said Gabe did you say they're you meant their division winning by a landslide or you mean they're going to win the World Series by a
Oh,
landslide?
division by a landslide.
Oh
No.
okay I was about to
Yeah.
World
Yeah.
Series they're not winning by a landslide
No,
I was
no, no.
like
It's gonna
no.
be close. It's gonna be a nice World Series, but division, there's no way. I mean, who's in second? Kansas City. Come on now, they're not gonna. No, they're not gonna catch up to them.
And I'm gonna disagree with both of you. I don't think the Tigers should be the favorite right now. I mean, to be the champs, you got to beat the champs, and the Dodgers are still the champs. And I think
Okay.
like once they get their rotation a little bit more healthy, like I think they're gonna be cooking a little bit more. They did just get swept by the Brewers, which wasn't really the greatest thing ever. But I mean, I still think they have the offensive firepower. I mean, Freddie Freeman's almost batting 300 which is absolutely absurd. You got Otani who leads the league in leadoff home runs. Like I think you have to acknowledge the experience and also Dave Roberts. Like I think he's the best manager in the game right now. Like I mean, I know you said the Tigers manager, but I think Roberts is definitely right there. And I think those two, like I think that's a clash course possibly for the World Series. I mean, Tigers Dodgers. I mean, that is looking like a very big possibility. And I think the biggest question mark is like is Shohei Otani going to get a heavier workload at some point? Like, when does that start? Because he hasn't had a single start this year where he's pitched over 2 innings. Like, when does that really begin? I'm trying to figure out exactly when.
Yeah,
Well,
and
he needs
go
to,
ahead,
go
Gabe.
ahead, Michael. Okay, he needs to get with Otani and especially with Tommy John. He needs to get used to that pitching longer innings. It's hard to come right off and not pitch for almost 2 years. I did it for my Gordy report. It was 633 days. So it's no 663 days. I'm sorry. But it's still a long time. He can't go out there and pitch 5 innings, 6 innings. He got to work it slower, by the time and then he'll be there. But he's throwing 102. He's hitting triple digits. His breaking stuff is disgusting, and he's had his ERA went down from like 9 to 2, maybe 6 something in the last time I checked it. So he's there. He's getting there, but he has to get time for it because Tommy John is a rough injury to come back to. But he right now, in my opinion, he's dominating. So once he gets to the back end of the season and he starts going 5, 6 innings, yeah, I probably would agree with JB. They might be Dodgers might be
Well,
a powerhouse once again.
I knew you would switch up right away because you just love Otani so much. I knew it. Knew it. You couldn't
PC's
hold you
MVP.
couldn't hold your Tigers point for 2 seconds, dude. As soon as I mentioned Otani, he's like, nope, dude. I'm changing everything, dude.
I got a quick follow and real quick, Gabe. I told you.
Oh yes, I was waiting for
I
it.
told
I was
you.
waiting for it. There you go. Oh
Since we're
yeah,
talking about champs, and this is a real
yeah,
one too. This
yeah.
is
That's a
not one of
real one.
those. This is
Double
not one of
down,
those stadium giveaways. This is a real one.
Man, I'm
Hey, I'll
ringless
take
over
that. There
here.
you
I don't
go.
have any rings. I feel like I'm not a part of the club. Actually, I got 5 Cowboy Super Bowl rings
There
somewhere
you
in
go.
here. Yeah, I'm actually not
Oh
ringless.
man. Oh, I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm ashamed you brought up the 5 rings so long ago.
I know. I know.
But anyways, no, quick follow on that. Just to your point, yeah, like they know how to win in the playoffs. Since we're talking about champs, like they are the defending champs, so that's a very fair point. And I think this is like if it is a series at the end between the Tigers and Dodgers, obviously everything is dependent on the health of the starting rotation. That's really what it boils down to at the end of the day every year. But I think you're looking at a 7-game series, probably one of the better World Series in the game's history that we're going to get if it's those two teams matching up at a point where they're both healthy enough to, play to their not full potential. No one's ever able to play their full potential that late in the season, but a potential that that reflects what they're doing right now.
Right, right. Yeah, the health is key because, you got to keep it, you got to keep everybody healthy. And I think the Dodgers rotation has kind of struggled with that a little bit. And I'm just not like, I love Clayton Kershaw. I think he's a great player, but he is not in a position in his career where he can just be having a heavy workload. Because I mean, he's a lot older. He's got a lot of pitches on that arm, and I don't know. He's injury prone. as well. Like he is a guy I feel like that can just get hurt at any moment, but hopefully he can stay healthy because I think he helps the depth of that rotation a lot. Just, having that experience. I mean, and I want to get into this is the play of the week. It's not really a play like per se, but like just kind of a performance I really want to touch on. Jacob Mizorowski of the Brewers. Who this young fella is on the way. Like he had 12 strikeouts against the Dodgers on Tuesday, and he is among a select group of pitchers since 1901 with 12 strikeouts, no more than one walk, and one run allowed in one of their first 5 career starts. And he's also got a hat in Cooperstown because I think he had 11, I think it was hitless innings, I think it was to start his career. Like this dude is nuts. And his fastball is nasty. He's throwing triple digits. He's looked very impressive. He's only 23 years old. Like he is dominating the Dodgers and he's only 23 years old. Like how scary is this kid?
Yeah, I'll start. I think you're looking at between him and Skeens, if Skeens stays in the NL Central, which is not a given. But at least over the next couple of years, you're looking at probably one of the best pitching matchups we're going to see repeated in baseball throughout the year. And obviously, it takes two to make that happen. Mizorowski, we know what Skeens is, but Mizorowski is just that good. I mean, his frame too. The tall, slender person he is to be able to just throw 100, and his stuff is disgusting. It moves like crazy. I know he caught the Dodgers at a rough time. They're on a 6-game skid right now, but to strike out 12 major league hitters in a lineup like that is no easy task. And yeah, I mean, you're looking at a guy that if they'd have called him up, I think 3 weeks earlier, he's probably in contention to even start the All-Star game for you this year.
Right.
So yeah, this kid's he's one of the ones, man. Like you're looking at a perennial Cy Young contender if he can stay healthy, and that's going to be the big key. Everyone throws hard nowadays, so how do you keep that elbow intact?
Yeah, and I know Gabe. He's a Brewer, so we hate him already.
Yeah. Touch upon that. I mean, it's nice to see young talent, especially in the pitching department, where they're throwing 102, 103 as a starter, even, and then they mix it up with their breaking balls and they tunnel perfectly. They have the good change, the bounce right off of it with their fastball. So, it's a lot of fun to see what this kid is doing, and it scares me as a Cubs fan and
Yeah,
even
it does.
the National League. But I mean, you got to give props to the kid. I mean, he struck out Ohtani. Like, how rare is that? Wow.
But he did remember Ohtani hit a home run off him, and then he
That's
went
true,
on his
yes.
run after that.
Yes, that's true. Ohtani does that. He did on Paul Skeens as well. Struck out off Paul Skeens and hit a homer as like that bat. So little Ohtani thing. But back to the kid. So yeah, he's just good to watch. I mean, if he could stay healthy, these pitchers nowadays with Tommy John because they throw so hard, it depends on how they deliver the ball. But if he stays healthy and consistent and mix up his pitches a lot, he's gonna be really scary. And I'm not looking forward to it.
No. I'm like over here, like, dude, like, can you please get these like young 100-mile-an-hour pitchers out of our division? Like, I mean, stop bringing them in here, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we already got two of them.
Hunter Green's another one. Hunter Green's another one with those over 100 as a starter. He lights it up as well. We just got
Chase Burns too.
Yeah,
They just called up Chase Burns.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we don't have one. Cubs don't have a young stud like that on the mound.
No, we don't. I mean, we got Imanaga, but he's not throwing 100. So he's not doing that. And we'll move on to a very interesting topic that I'm actually super excited to talk about is like, at this point in the season, who is the best division in baseball in your eyes when you're looking at, top to bottom, like what's the best?
Well, just looking at it right now, I don't want to steal y'all's thunder. So if either of y'all were thinking the NL Central, I'll leave that to you. But I really do think the NL. No, okay. Okay, then I'll go the NL Central. I really do think the NL Central is good. Like the NL Central, I think at the start, I think the Cubs are like top tier team in the league right now. I don't think that's really much of a debate. But then you look at the Brewers who always find ways to sneak up on you, particularly at the end of the season, right?
Annoying,
you got the Cardinals who everyone thought was going to be this reset team, retool, and they just haven't been, though they've struggled a little bit in June. We've seen their ability to win. And then the Reds, again, have slid a little bit as of late, but 2-3 weeks ago, you had Ken Rosenthal coming on foul territory talking about he expects them to be aggressive. They call up Chase Burns, as we just mentioned. So I don't think that, I mean, they're a team that hasn't been good for a while. So if they have the assets at the trade deadline with the expanded playoffs, like looking at it now, they are they're 7.5 out of the division, but I don't know why it's not showing up. They can't be too far out of the wild card race. So, I mean, that's 4 teams right there that want to make the playoffs out of 5. I mean, the Pirates, I don't think the Pirates are doing much. They've lost 6 in a row. They've lost 6 in a row.
I would be surprised if they do. That would be a great story in MLB history.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, that's a division with 4 real players right there. You've obviously got the AL East. I feel like that's low hanging fruit, right?
That's
Blue
what
Jays,
I was
the
going to go with too.
Yankees, the Rays, even the Red Sox look kind of good. I'll let y'all dive into that a little more. But I'm going to go the NL Central, man. That's a sneaky good division, kind of like the AL Central last year, where nobody expected 3 of the last 4 teams standing in the American League playoffs to be from the AL Central.
Yeah. Well, I probably didn't talk loud enough, but yes, I picked the NL Central. A little biased for it because, kind of like you said, the Brewers are just always so pesky. They just, I don't know what it is, but they always find ways to come back. And we've seen it before. It's history repeating itself. 2018, we had a big lead, dominating the division all year, choked it the last month of the year in September. And then we lost game 163 in Chicago against Milwaukee. And it hasn't been the same since for Chicago. Happened the following year in 2019, this time to the Cardinals. So it's a repeating factor for the Cubs in the division. Like, the only time we had a big lead was 2016. And we just dominated the division a whole year. Even 2017, we came back later that year. But still, like, the Cubs need to find a way to have a dominant lead in the division. Like, they're only 2 games out. That's nothing. And it's the first half of the season already. We're almost up the first half. So they got to step it up, not have history repeat itself. And I mean, ever since I started this podcast with you, JB, what's the word said? The Cubs stand for completely useless by September. So let's hope it's not.
Put that in all caps. Put that in all caps, dude. It's a real thing, dude. Like, ever since I've known Gabe, September is by far my angriest moment in the baseball season.
We've had some good memories in JB's house back down here.
Well, it's just like the way then and in the last series, like I kind of want to like talk about, our offense picked it up. We won 8-1 yesterday, but I mean, we lost a series to the Twins, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Twins, really? And then we had a relief pitcher just absolutely blow up in the 8th inning. Dude, talk about anger. That's probably the most angry I've been all baseball season. Like, no joke. Porter Hodge, like, giving up 6 runs in the 8th inning, 3 of them homers.
Yeah, that's not good.
That cannot happen, dude. Like, I know the Cubs have been glorified to have this, great offense, which we do, but our pitching lacks a lot of depth. And that's very concerning going into the playoffs for me.
Yeah. It's the same with, Michael was saying about the Tigers, trying to find that slot for the starting pitcher role. And the starting pitchers this year, like I mentioned before, they're not as, high caliber as we've seen them before. I mean, Zach Gallen not having a great year. Fought from the Diamondbacks, not having a great year. Alcantara, not what we've seen before, not having the greatest year. He's picked up as of late, like Michael said, but there's not anyone outstanding to get in the deadline. Are you willing to trade your top prospects for someone you might even get for not even half a season? So that's where you got to see it in that aspect, but that's where you got to use your farm system. Maybe got some guys in the farm that are better caliber. You never know. So that's the big piece right now. I agree with you, JB. Our bullpen's been better since the start of the season, but I mean, Jameson Taillon went to the IL a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
another high starter for us on the IL. Like, this stuff cannot happen, and
that's the thing. Steele went out at the beginning of the year. I mean,
Imanaka
probably our best starter, honestly, and he's just gone like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cycle right now of our starting pitchers, but right now, I mean, our offense is picking it up. Third best offense in the league, but I'll save that for our top 5 teams. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just had to, address that. But I think the division, Michael touched on it. I like the AL East right now. I just like how competitive it is. The Blue Jays, I mean, you could say they're the hottest team right now in the league, like going into the All-Star break. They've really been pitching well. I know you got Vladimir Guerrero, Bo Bichette, those guys, but I want to touch on George Springer. I mean, this guy is in his mid 30s, and we didn't think that, he had this amount of baseball left in him to maybe tap into the Houston days that he was once doing in his career. And he's been having an all-star caliber season. That's another all-star snub, in my opinion. He is like been super, super important to the Blue Jays. And them being as hot as they are right now, honestly, kind of surprises me because like I know the Blue Jays have talent, but I feel like, I saw Ken Rosenthal say like, they're always a team that's like underperforming for like the talent they have. And I feel like now they're finally like actually like, hitting their stride at the right time. And you got obviously the Yankees, they're starting to pick it up a little bit more. They've kind of had a rough 10-game stretch. I think they're like 4-6 in their last 10 games, but they swept their Mariners last night, which if you didn't watch that game, they came back down 5-0 in the eighth inning. That was pretty amazing. But I mean, I think the Yankees, Max Fried, obviously that cannot go unnoticed. This guy has been an absolute beast, but I'm just always thinking, what if they had Garrett Cole? I mean, this team would be so much better if they had Garrett Cole. And then you go down the line. I mean, the Rays are always just competitive. The Red Sox, even after trading Devers, they're still competitive to a certain degree. And then, the Orioles, they were like 9 games back a couple games ago. Now they're 11.5. But I mean, they were awful at the beginning of the year. And now they're kind of like starting to get a little better, I guess. But I don't really see them doing a whole lot. But I mean, it's competitive division. I didn't think it'd be this competitive, honestly. I really didn't.
Yeah. And to touch on the point about the Blue Jays too, like, I think a little surprising to me as well. I think that's surprising to a lot of people in baseball. But the thing I keep reminding myself is like ebbs and flows of a season, right? Like the Blue Jays are taking advantage of when the Yankees are not playing good. You're going to get the Yankees to have this kind of stretch once or twice a year in the state they're currently in. And the Blue Jays decided to get really hot at the same time the Yankees decided to get really cold. So that's one that I'm watching for to play out post All-Star break, in August, September. I want to see how long the Blue Jays can keep it up because there's no guarantee that you're gonna still have Max Scherzer for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
He's like
that's
40
yeah.
years old at this point. Nerve damage is not a good thing. So I think for them, it just comes down to how aggressive do you want to be at the trade deadline. They are one of the teams that, are you in or are you out? You can't middle out. You're one of the two. Exactly. So that's a really tough division. The Rays are like just so sneaky good every year. People, I feel like, never give them enough credit, though they have a road heavy schedule in the second half. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm not stamping the Blue Jays as, the clear cut AL East favorite right now. They are, just to touch on a point that I know we're not really discussing today, which is the trade deadline, probably one of the more interesting teams that I'll be watching over the course of the next couple weeks to see how they attack that.
Is Alcantara a guy the Blue Jays go and try to get?
I think Alcantara is a guy that pretty much every team that is in contention tries to get that needs a starter. I think the Cubs are going to be in on him. I think the Blue Jays could be in on him. Tigers certainly could be on him. Every team needs bullpen help. That's a start. But a starter is definitely at the top of most teams' lists. So it really becomes, when it's a matter of like supply and demand, who's willing to overpay at the end of the day. I think the Cubs are in a position to overpay. I think the Tigers are in a position to overpay. The Blue Jays, it just depends on how confident they are, considering the rest of that division and how confident they are in that group. Can they sustain the 2-3 week period that they just had throughout, the course of a couple months in the added month with the playoffs? So that's up to Ross Atkins in the front office. But I think every team's going to be in on a guy like Alcantara. It's just a matter of who's got the supply to trade for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would agree.
Yeah, and I know the Cubs are going to be trying to get him as well. And then we'll dive into our top 5 teams, and then we'll be halfway through the point of the season. Who wants to go first? Top 5, just to name them off.
I'll take it real quick, so I don't want to take too much time. But as of right now, we have a lot of streaks. Teams have been on a tear recently. Some teams are hotter than others, so it might seem a surprise. But as much as I hate to say this, I'm going to go with the Brewers. I'm going to go for 5-1. So starting at 5, I'll go with the Brewers. They have been hot as of late. As we know, they're 2 out of our division, like we mentioned. They're playing well, I believe. Like, what's their last 6-4 in their last 10? And they're sneaky good, very good pitching. As we know, they're second in the league in hitting as well, eighth in pitching. So if they can keep consistent and be sneaky like they are, and keep on them Cubs' tail. I hope not, but it could be an issue. I hope not, but they are playing good baseball right now, sweeping the Dodgers. So it's a big eye candy opener. When you sweep the best team like that, the champs, like you mentioned, JB. So it's a scary sight. But they're 5. I put the Phillies at 4. I think the Phillies have shocked the world a little bit, I would say. I mean, I know the Mets have been really consistent this year, so maybe that's why they're on top of the division right now. But it's still close. It's only a game and a half as of right now. But they've been clutch. They beat the Cubs twice. I don't mention the Cubs all the time, but they beat them twice in the series at Wrigley and in Philly. So they have the talent to do so. They have great pitching as well. They got Castellanos, they got Schwarber, they got Turner, they got Scott, which I like a lot too.
Yeah.
So Hoskins as well. No, sorry, he's in the Brewers now. I'm sorry, I'm in Remuto. They got a good team, and obviously they've had a good stretch the past couple of years. Went to the World Series 3 years ago. They got knocked out in the first round last year, but that's a whole different story with the playoff format. But I feel like the Phillies can pick it up, and the Mets slow down. The Phillies might take the division again, so I like that. And then in third, I'll go with us. Third best offense in the league, third best team circling around that ballpark area. We're offense, big part of our game. Stolen bases is a really big part of our game. We got one of the more stolen bases in the league. I believe I have it here. I know I'll jump it up.
I think we're like second in
third,
stolen bases
third in
something
stolen
like
bases. I
that.
think we just missed second. I think because we didn't. I don't think we stole any bases.
I think we were a couple days ago because the stats change like every day.
Yeah, every single day. But yeah, we have 106 stolen bases, which is really good.
That's a lot.
I know they've expanded the bases and limited the pickoffs, so that's a good sign that it's working for the league. We're first in runs per game at 5.38, I believe it was. So if we can keep it up and our pitching stays consistent, if it can, the starters are healthy, that'd be a good season for us. But the Cubs, they shine, or they try to shine at the end of the year. So I want to wait for them to do that. But hopefully they get it done that way and make a good run for it. And then Astros, they're my second team. They're a big sleeper this year. They've had really picked it up. Third best bullpen in the league. Great pitching. They got Jimmy Pena having an outstanding year.
Yeah.
He's got Paredes, former Cub. You got Cam Smith, former Cub prospect, who unfortunately, in my biased opinion, hasn't playing well in the trade with Kyle Tucker. So Altuve having being consistent as always, having a good year.
When you have Altuve, you have a chance.
No, yeah,
you have a chance.
The remaining guy that's been there. His whole career has been with Houston, so he's stepping up like always, being consistent. So I would anxious to see how the Astros do it, and we all know how good, consistent they are. Even the playoffs, they had a good run for that long stint of their dynasty, which we thought died, but apparently they're going crazy right now. So, and then obviously we touched up on it earlier, but the Tigers, best team in the league, lead the division by a landslide, 13 games, good pitching, good hitting, 5 All-Stars in the team, ties for the most in the MLB. But my list for top 5, I think these teams have a good chance to win their divisions and make a good run for the playoffs. So
that's solid.
No Dodgers.
Yeah, no Dodgers.
On that list.
No Dodgers on this list. I was gonna put them at 5, but as Paney does this, I put Brewers. They're in my opinion, I hate them so much. I do. But they're on a tear right now. They're on a tear. They really are. 2 games out.
Is this biased from the recent series they just had with them?
Yes. I mean, if you sweep a juggernaut, if you sweep a defending champ in the Brewers, who are not they didn't have anything to be contending this year or anything good. Like Michael said, the Cardinals supposed to be that little in that slot. But the Brewers, man, they've stepped it up. And it's very frustrating. But you can't ignore greatness.
Okay, Michael. Let's hear it.
my top 5 teams. I'm gonna project out a little bit. I'm not gonna go off the past couple weeks, just to kind of switch it up. I've got Houston at 5. They are simply built for it. You lose Tucker, you lose Bregman in the offseason. You don't have Pena right now. You're gonna get him back. Hunter Brown is leading the charge in that rotation. He looks like one of the better pitchers in baseball. Joe Espada is respected by a lot of his players and a lot of people around the league. And going back to what I said, I mean, they're just built for it. They just won't go away. They're playing in an AOS that isn't particularly super competitive. You really only have to worry about the Seattle Mariners in that division.
Yeah.
So their resurgence is not really surprising. They trust their players, and their players come through. They built a really good roster. I think they've surprised a lot of people. So I'm going to give them 5. And I know generally I don't. We just talked about ebbs and flows of a season, and I was like, hey, let's pump the brakes on the Blue Jays. But the Astros have, over the last, almost decade, reserved the right to go on a streak like this and then, get placed in something like the top 5 teams in the league right now. So I'm going to go Houston at 5. We'll go Philly at 4, powerhouse team. Some holes here and there. They need some bullpen help. I think they go out and they get maybe even a guy like Clase. That could be someone to look at as a potential trade piece for them. Or someone to acquire rather. I think they do that. They are ultimate or immediately one of the best 2 teams in baseball, at least on paper. So I got the Phillies at 3. At 4. At 3, I've got the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at one of the best offenses in baseball. I know they're going to be hyper aggressive. I'm really excited to see what they do at the trade deadline, and assuming that they hit on what they want to accomplish. Right, starting pitcher, right, if not 2. I think you're looking at a perennial contender in the National League. They are already, but even more so after the deadline. Again, if Jed Hoyer hits on what he wants to hit on. And then number 2, I've got the Los Angeles Dodgers. I trust the Dodgers. They know how to win playoff baseball. They know how to win down the stretch. I think this was the plan all along, right? They loaded up on starting pitchers because they knew this was going to happen. Maybe not to the extent that it happened, right? You lose Snell, you lose Sasaki, you lose Glasnow all at once. So they're slowly and surely starting to come back. But again, I think this was the plan all along, right? They have the offense to complement a pitching staff that is just flat out hurt. And yes, they're going through a skid right now, but again, ebbs and flows of a season. It happens to the best teams. The Yankees are going to go through it a couple times a year. The Dodgers are going to go through it a couple times a year. That's just baseball. It's a 162-game season. So I've got them at 2. I trust them. They're winning the playoffs. And then number 1, we touched on them a lot earlier, but the Detroit Tigers, just the makeup of that team. They know how to play baseball, like down to the roots. Again, I talked about they just need probably another starter in their set. I think it's going to be really hard if you're a team in the American League to beat the Detroit Tigers in a playoff series. So to recap, Tigers 1, Dodgers 2, Cubs 3, Phillies 4, Astros 5. Maybe you want to flip-flop Cubs and Phillies depending on how the deadline goes, but I think that's a tight race there in the middle. But that's my 5 projecting out into August and September.
I think Phillies getting Class A is very intriguing.
Yeah.
If that happens, that would be a spectacular move for them.
Luckily, we faced them already, so we're not gonna worry about it. But
yeah, that'd be it. And
that's just.
I'm gonna go now. We have very similar teams. I think all of us had the Cubs 3. I had the Cubs at 3rd, but I'm gonna start out at 5. The Yankees. I know you guys are probably gonna be like, yeah, no, like they haven't really been like all that great, but I mean, I think they've got the experience. I swear, like, if Aaron Judge, he can bat 360, whatever. But if he doesn't do it in the playoffs, it does not matter. I really need everything Aaron Judge does in the regular season. It's like, all right, like, we knew you could do that in the regular season, but let's see it in the playoffs. That is the determining factor for this Yankees team. Because if he plays the way he has played in the past with the postseason, the Yankees do not have a shot. Especially not having Juan Soto, because you had Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton really have a huge load when it came to trying to pick up the offense, because Aaron Judge was just throwing a bunch of pieces all over the place. He's like, hey, pick him up. Like, you can't do that again this year. You just can't. I'm gonna put them at 5 just because I like what they've done over the last couple of years, and I think their offense will get going. I'm hoping that Volpe will pick it up to a certain degree. He is not batting great. He's batting below 220. He's really struggled this year. I really want to see what he can do. Phillies at 4 for me. I mean, I'm in love with their rotation. I mean, they've got guys like Suarez, Zach Wheeler's really good. And then Aaron Nola, whenever he gets back, His stat line has been really weird though. Like I looked at his record, it was like 1-6 when I looked at it, but I don't think he's played since May.
Mhm.
So getting him back and healthy, that's important for the Phillies. And then obviously you got Bryce Harper. You know, he's having a little bit of a, no one's really talking about Bryce Harper. He's kind of had a down year a little bit, and he's been hurt as well. So being able to stay healthy for him, I think that's key. But yeah, I just like the batters, kind of what Gabe was saying. And then the Cubs at 3. I mean, I think we have the offense. There's no doubt about it. I think our offense can win us a playoff series. It's just winning the World Series that is going to determine on how our pitching goes. And then at 2, I'm going to go to the Tigers. We talked about them. Phenomenal year, phenomenal story. Detroit has not been good in like pretty much over a decade, and they're having an amazing year. And then Dodgers at 1. You know, kind of like what Michael said. I trust the Dodgers. Like that is basically the only reason, and they have the best player in the game, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, as long as you have that guy, you're gonna be the best team. You have to be.
Yeah,
And,
three MVPs in the same lineup, and Gabe didn't put him in this top 5. Crazy to me.
You know, I'm a disagreeing with you guys. I don't trust the Dodgers. I know they have Ohtani. We all know how much I love Ohtani. But they did it last year. Yeah, they did it last year. Cool.
Yeah, but you should that should make you trust them. That should make you trust them.
Yeah, but the history, the good, the bad outweighs the good. And prior to Ohtani, even more before that, they choked all the time in the playoffs. I know it's different now, but still, like, I just have a really weird feeling that it's not gonna be the same. I would love for Ohtani to get a ring.
Is this Gabe? Is this Gabriel Vasquez? Am I talking to the right person here? Because this is the guy who glazes Ohtani as the greatest baseball player ever. I'm just trying to check here.
There's a man called Pete Crow Armstrong. So this is not my Ohtani year today, like or this year. It's not my Ohtani season. I love him. He's doing great. I would support him. He's my GOAT forever. But PCA is my guy forever and always. And we finally have a guy that is competing with Ohtani for MVP, which I know we're on a time crunch, so I'm not gonna go too deep into that. But yeah, Dodgers, and they lost 6 straight. So I think
they're not healthy, Gabe. They're not healthy.
Exactly. So how can
what do you mean?
How can you trust
it's July. It's July.
Okay? It's a long season. It's a long season. They can be good for 2 months from this month in August, and then September rolls around and they don't make the playoffs. Lose first round. It's the game of baseball.
Dodgers are not losing in the first round. That will never happen.
They did it before.
They won the World Series doing bullpen games in the playoffs last year. I'll leave it at that. They were running out bullpen games and still won the World Series.
I'm not a hot take guy, but this is my hot take for this pod.
But I'm just shocked that you're saying that. Like genuinely shocked.
As much as I want PCA to win the MVP, I think Ohtani is probably still going to win it. I mean, I think if PCA just continues to do what he's doing and shock the world day by day, maybe he squeaks it out. But
I love PCA, but I don't think he's going to win MVP.
I don't.
Not going to happen.
Bet on it. Maybe I would bet on it depending on how I feel. But yesterday he became the 3rd player to have 25 home runs and like 25 stolen bases, something like that before the All-Star break. He joined Barry Bonds. I forget the other guy's name. But like that's elite company. And that's MVP type stuff. He's like breaking records. He's tying records. He's making history. He's like 23 years old too. So it's like he's doing these things that you're not seeing. He's catching diving plays and he's hitting balls off scoreboards. That's 5'2". And you know how I am about 5'2" player. And I love Ohtani. You know that. But I love seeing a player that's on my team have MVP talks. And I can't overlook that. So.
Okay. Well, I think we'll go ahead and close it out. Anything you guys want to say before we close this out?
Go Cubs.
I'm going to take a line from David Sampson and do a wait to see on the Dodgers. We will discuss. We'll bring up what Gabe just said 3 months from now when the Dodgers are back to back. We'll do that.
Okay. All right, cool. If Ohtani gets another ring, then that's good for me because it pushes him being towards the GOAT of baseball.
All right, we're not talking about this. We're ending it right on that. This is Gabriel Vasquez, fellow Cubs fan. I appreciate you coming on, and then Michael Beer, of course. producer at Foul Territory. Good luck at the All-Star game. Hope everything is well, and I hope you have fun in Atlanta, man. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I hope to see y'all out at future All-Star games. See you in 27 in Chicago. How about that?
Yes,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be at that one for sure, for sure. But this is gonna go ahead and do it for another episode of The Take with Jackson Burleson. If you like what you see, make sure to go subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment what you think about, halfway through the MLB season, and also just make sure to hit the notification bell because you don't want to miss out what's going on The Take, and especially Gabe saying what he said about the Dodgers. But we'll go ahead and close it out. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my